Episode number 289, Using Vimeo for Your Live Stream with Justin Kennedy. Let's do it.
This is the definitive podcast for helping you plan, create, and execute dynamic worship experiences at your church. Useful, practical content in the areas of production, worship, communications, first impressions, and more. This is Making Sunday Happen.
Hey guys, this is the Making Sunday Happen podcast. We're helping you transform your physical and online worship experiences each week. Before we get rolling this week, I want to let you know about some really cool updates to our 1230 website. 1230.media is the site to go to. We have added a mountain of new content to our ready-made library. You can now choose between 9 product types in the library. I'm talking mini movies, series boxes. That's full series kits. Everything that you need graphically and video for your next sermon series is there. Coordinated packs of media we call service packs. Countdowns, motion backgrounds, worship backgrounds, title graphics, social media content, and more. We've also reduced the price of our subscription by almost $200 a year. So guys, I don't know how to be more honest with you. We are doing everything we possibly can do to make high quality media content available to every single church. If you're a church plant and still need help affording our content, please call us 910-849-1230, 910-849-1230. We can't give away the farm, but we can give away a few cows to help you out. So you can also download media completely free. Just go to 1230.media and under the ready-made drop-down, choose the free media section, and you can test 2 free products in every single product type that we have to give you a taste of how you can use our ready-made media content at your church. It is our heart to serve you. We're trying to make it as affordable and as accessible as possible. If you can't afford our subscription and want to only buy stuff individually, you can do that. We have there's a whole store on our website there that you don't have to have a subscription. You can buy stuff individually. It's going to save you a ton of money to do a subscription. The entire library for an entire year, everything is under $400. So you can go online, get that 1230.media. We are adding multiple pieces of new content, new products in the library every single week. So we love you guys. We're trying our best to serve you the best we know how. So the website is 1230.media to get started. All right, this week on the show, I'm talking with my friend Justin Kennedy. Justin is the head of the Faith Division at Vimeo. I'll be talking with Justin about how to use Vimeo for your live stream at your church and what they are learning as they help thousands of churches around the world navigate the time that we're in. First, let's check the mailbag. For the mailbag this week, I want to show you a behind-the-scenes photo from Stonebridge Church in the Woodlands, Texas. There are multi-view set up there, great switcher, and Star Wars figures, which always works in any tech booth or control room. Way to go, guys, there at Stonebridge Church in the Woodlands, Texas. If you have a photo or question for the mailbag, feel free to send it in. I love sharing photos and stories of how you guys are making Sunday happen at your church. You can email me, or you can find me on social at Carl Barnhill. My email is carl@1230.media. I would love to hear from you. All right, coming up, my chat with Justin Kennedy from Vimeo. Hey guys, Carl here. I want to tell you about an awesome online conference that I'm speaking at this month. It's the Church Online Summit from my friend Steve Fogg. The summit is packed with amazing speakers like Nona Jones, Carrie Nieuwhof, Jay Cranda, Amanda Sims, Alan George, Haley Vitruis, my buddy Steve Fogg, and many more, including yours truly. It's a digital event on March 25th and 26th. Reach your community online and mobilize your church into action with the Church Online Summit. You can register now by using our special link at 1230.media/online summit. That's 1230.media/online summit. Hey guys, today I welcome Justin Kennedy. Justin is the head of Vimeo Faith. Justin, welcome. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Carl? The legend, the one, the only. How are you?
I am good. No legend, but we were talking before we started recording about your flat tire experiences today. So we've had to move around because you just can't get it together with your car, man. What's going
on? It's real life. I got actually have a pretty large diesel truck, believe it or not, because I live in Georgia. That's the thing to do.
I would believe that with you.
Yeah. Anyone who hears me say that is like, we 100% believe you because we know you.
Yeah.
It's just never fun. Never fun.
No, man, I'm sorry that you're having to deal with that. Well, all right. So 2020, give me your take from the side of Vimeo, and you've worked at several places. Kind of give me, well, how long have you been with Vimeo now?
Right. Almost a year now. Close.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So obviously you came right when things started to go crazy. So give me your take on the last year and how Vimeo's relationship with the church, how you guys have helped the church through this time.
So it's weird. As you know, like I'm also communications director at my church in Georgia. So I'm kind of like in the middle of this thing. I'm kind of like pushing and pulling. I see things from both ends. It was interesting. It was cool to me. Like obviously I'm not saying anything positive came from COVID. Because I know a lot of people have been really hurt by it. But man, I think it's kind of awakened the church and made them realize, hey, us spending 6 days of the week to get ready for this big like Sunday morning in-building production can be stripped from you in 2 seconds. And I've seen so many pastors do so many amazing things, reaching people midweek, doing video, like taking Roku sticks to older people's houses and nursing homes and jails. And I've really seen the church understand like, hey, wait a second, we can use this video thing to engage our congregation 7 days a week and stay in their house and stay on their screens instead of just 1 day a week. So it's been cool. It's been the thing I've been praying for and hoping to see. This is my 11th year doing this in the streaming industry. And this is where I was hoping the church would get. Hate the way that we got there, but I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, definitely push the church forward in ways. You know, there are definitely people who were not on the streaming bandwagon, were not ready for it, and they kind of were forced to get there quickly. So what have you seen at Vimeo in the church space? What are churches coming to you guys for?
Everything.
I'm sure. How do we do? We don't know.
No, it is, man. And it's cool because it's one time in my career where like the church and secular world are lined up. They're both wanting the same thing. We're talking, we do obviously with Vimeo, we do streaming for a ton of businesses. We've got, Pepsi wanting to like reach their people and reach their employees. And it's cool because it's lining up with what churches are looking for. We've got conferences trying to stream conferences. Churches are wanting to know, how do I reach people on Wednesday night? How do I interact with them? How do I reach, like, COVID has taken away our Sunday services. What do I do? Like, how do I reach people? So it's cool because I'm able to kind of put on church strategy hat and church video hat and kind of like help. And I've learned a lot from all these pastors I'm talking to. And I know you had your pastor roundtable, or we were talking to people all the time. It's just cool to see how churches are adapting and using Vimeo and all the other providers to reach their congregation.
So as head of Vimeo Faith, tell me your job and what's your relationship with churches.
Yeah. So we purchased a company called Livestream and acquired them, and they had a, kind of a avenue in the faith world, but Vimeo didn't specifically target it. And me being on staff at churches and serving churches for my whole life, I knew that, as you know, it's a different world. Yeah. So I came on board to really help like find the direction on the faith side of Vimeo, like what products are ministries wanting, who are our target ministries. And then, that's kind of evolving now to where now we have a specific faith account manager who is like specifically working with churches. So it's cool because we're kind of like we're still a mass, obviously we're in a part of Vimeo, but it's cool because we're kind of this, real strategic thought out team who is just trying to serve the church and trying to help ministries reach people.
So when COVID first started to hit, a lot of the questions were, how do I get online for churches that were not there yet, and finding solutions there. What about now, a year later, or close to it? What are some of the biggest struggles that churches are starting to hit you with now? Like, okay, we're up and running. Now what?
Yeah, a lot of it is kind of focused around retention. Because now it's the age-old question of, where do I stream? Do I need to be everywhere? Do I need to be streaming to Facebook Live? How about my website? Do I need apps? Like, they're trying to find, now that their content's out there, it's like, how do we reach people best? How are they engaging for the longest amount of time? And we're going to figure out what that one platform is, and we're going to dig into it. So that's been the big thing. I've been really pumped. I thought when this all started, it was going to be like, what camera do I use? Like, I never really dealt with a lot of that. Churches had at least been recording their services or something like that. So it wasn't really tech stuff. What I'm talking to pastors about all day, every day is strategy more than the tech side.
Good. What are some of the things that you're giving them on where we need to be going? Where are you leading them?
I flip back and forth on it every day. I feel like it really depends on the ministry. I talked to a ministry this morning. They're all 60 plus. I mean, the majority, 95% of their congregation is, Facebook's really not a great avenue for them. I suggested, Roku, Apple TV apps, because even my grandparents who are 86, 87, they can get into Netflix and watch, movies in 2 seconds. You can teach, 2-click, 3-click. But, bigger, like real big influential ministries, like people would think it'd be crazy to hear Vimeo say this, but we suggest, like, I'm for people simulcasting to YouTube. I think it's really important. It's one of the largest search engines in the world. And I think from a ministry standpoint, like, forget Vimeo, forget, the tech stuff. It's a search engine. It's where people, like, if you're struggling with like suicide, or you're struggling with like questions in your faith, like, a lot of people go on YouTube and search stuff. And as the church, I think it's our responsibility to have our stuff there. So it depends on the ministry. My church, everywhere we can get a video, we're getting it. Some churches, website only. It just, it's a ministry to ministry question. I don't think there's really like a black and white answer to it.
Do people use Vimeo more as, and we might get into some of this, but one of the biggest benefits of Vimeo that I love is the archive feature as well. So not only can I stream, but all my archive stuff is there. I mean, even our ministry, we use Vimeo to embed stuff in our web store and things like that, all over our website. So it's an easy place to archive, pull the embed link, pull the links to videos, all of that. So talk to me about that. Is that one reason that churches are coming to you guys, is for multiple features as well as just streaming?
Yeah. And we always laugh. Like, I always tell churches, like, I'm sure one of your staff's wedding videos are stored on Vimeo. Like, that's what people knew Vimeo for being. It's like where your professional film guy, like, had all of his content, because the archiving engine is so clean and the quality is so amazing. Yep. And like, unlike YouTube, who is not a video company, they're an advertising company. That's how they make their money. Like, Vimeo makes our money on extremely high quality video for organizations. So the archiving end is huge, because not only is it archived like on Vimeo, and obviously if you're simulcasting other places, it's there, but we give you really clean, beautiful ways for you to archive it on your website and showcases. But Vimeo is still obviously like the back end host of all that.
You mentioned Facebook and where should I stream? And I don't want to get too political here, but are you dealing with a lot of churches that might be pulling out of, like, I'm hearing this is starting to rumble. Yeah. Should I be pulling off of Facebook? Should I be pulling off of some of these, is Facebook going to start shutting me down, et cetera, which I don't think that's immediate, Could be soon. I don't know. But are you hearing rumblings of that where maybe Vimeo is a solution for people who are coming off of some platforms?
Yeah, and my thing's always been like is to go to those platforms, but make it where they could be gone overnight and it doesn't affect your ministry.
Right.
That's always been my biggest push. Like I think the website and things that you own, your website, your TV apps, your mobile apps, that's number one for where your content needs to be. It's where you want your core congregation being engaged because engagement's longer. It's not like an ADD nightmare like Facebook, but like that's how I found the church I'm at now. And I'm on staff there is Facebook. So it's important, but yeah, I'm getting rumblings every day of people like, I'm done with social media. We're getting off Facebook. We're done with YouTube. We just want it on our website. So I think that's a turn that's about to be pretty, I think that's about to be a pretty hot topic in the church world and all the church media, Facebook pages and all that. I can see it. It.
I think where I stand on that, and you can speak more to it, is I think we still need to be on those platforms.
Yep.
But I totally agree with you that I need to have a space that I own that's kind of my anchor place. And I think that's your website. And whether that's Vimeo links throughout your website or that's where you archive stuff, that's fine. But your website needs to be your anchor. And then if you spit it out on Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, wherever, that's great. You need to be on those platforms. But I agree with you. Don't let that be your source, your anchor source. We have a Facebook page. Well, great. You need to have a website too. Not two, you need to have a website, period.
Yeah.
And exactly. Let Facebook and social media be your secondary, get it out there for people to view it.
Yeah.
Speak to that.
You never know. I mean, if Facebook decides tomorrow, like your church is done, then it shouldn't, be upset and all that, but it shouldn't affect your ministry. You should have built your video ministry and your online campus, whatever you want to call it, like well enough structured to where it's not a major hit. It's just kind of a diversion.
Right. Good. All right. So let's dive back into live streaming a little bit. So I'm going to read some stats. So in September of 2019, live streaming was forecasted to become an over $70 billion industry over the next 3 years. Now, this was before COVID, so I'm sure that number has gone up. But how do you see the landscape of live stream? Do you see it changing over the next few years? How has COVID disrupted that space for churches?
It's interesting, and those stats are they're wild. Vimeo's obviously been like Vimeo's a massive chunk of that. That 70 billion number that they thought it was going to be. It's probably way higher than that if they actually backed up and looked at it. It's weird, man. Like the conversation 10 years ago was streaming is going to take people from my church. Why do I need to do this? And then about 5-6 years ago, that died. And then it was, why do we need to stream with you? And now it's, it just continues to evolve. I honestly don't know where streaming's going. Like it's kind of reached a place now where it's kind of industry standard. You should be, if you aren't video streaming, like I used to be kind of nervous about saying this before, like you're behind, like you're in trouble. Your ministry's in trouble. You need to be streaming. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to continue to grow, and I'm hoping that churches are not going to see it. Well, let me say this. It's going to evolve to where it is a ministry of its own. It's not just some side thing your church does. Like Absolutely. Sunday service is it in the building. That's church. And this stream thing, like we're just doing it like to keep up with the times and to reach millennials. Like I think that now it's realizing we can actually build and reach people with the gospel in a real serious way. This isn't some like throwaway like this is real. Like we can actually do ministry with this. And who knows how the church is gonna run with it. I'm hoping extremely strongly.
I think a lot of people are realizing that. Okay, so let's talk Vimeo some more. So tell me how Vimeo is different than someone like Resi or another streaming provider. You want to give me some of your features? We've talked about them a little bit, but give me some of the features that you guys provide.
Yep. So Vimeo is different in a lot of ways. I get that question a lot, obviously, from people that I'm talking to all day, every day. because there's so many people in the space and there's so many companies that are doing it, like why Vimeo. And really, I always remember, like, in the dawn of all industries, you look at like the dawn of the computing industry, there was, 500 computer companies, and then 2 rose to the top and had the ability to scale and had leadership and vision to do it. I think the difference in Vimeo is in 3 years, we're going to be here. And I don't think any of the others are. As far as like technical stuff goes, Vimeo is the only one that, like, we can run every aspect of your video ministry. Like OTT apps, like I want a Netflix replacement for my church, Vimeo builds them. Like live streaming, we do it. Hey, I really want to, I want a software encoder and I don't want to use a third party, like Vimeo builds one. Like everything from a church of 10 people up to, TBN, who's one of our customers, however many hundreds of millions of views a month. Like we can serve everyone in every capacity and do it with excellence.
I also think that you guys have been around in the market enough to where you've worked out the kinks. You're completely stable. I mean, how old is Vimeo now? 15 years?
I should know this. I honestly don't know. I know Vimeo. I remember opening my first Vimeo account like in high school. Like Vimeo's been around we've weathered the storm. I think that's a good, and then, and it's cool because we've seen opportunities in what's next in the market and got in before, like we saw live streaming exploding. We went out and acquired Livestream. Like we started seeing OTT become this huge thing. And we bought a company called VHX, which is kind of like now the back end tool for our OTT and app network. So we continue to grow, and it's cool because, most people can see the front facing marketing of all these other companies. And, at the end of the day, it's like, 20, 30 people, in an office, like kind of held together with duct tape. And, Vimeo's, it's just a different animal. It's, we're worldwide. We've got, I don't even know, over 1,000 employees, something like that. I mean, we're, our dev team is the size of, every other streaming company's entire business, like put together. So it's just a different world. Now, I'm definitely not speaking ill, because trust me, all those guys and everyone and all the other streaming companies, I think they have the same mission as me. Like they're just trying to forward the gospel and they're helping churches do it with video. So like power to them. And I'm glad that, ministries have got, whatever fits for them. We just believe Vimeo fits for people better.
Yeah. All right. So what are I'm going to hit you with some kind of rapid fire stuff. What are some things that churches should be doing with their live stream or online worship experience and are not?
Please make it different than your Sunday morning service. Don't just like run a line from your like screens in the church and stream that. Please like have a host, have someone talk and engage to the people at home. North Point's been doing this, my gosh, since I don't even know, for 15 years they've been doing this. Like they have an executive pastor or a youth pastor, like come on 2 minutes before and say like, hey, thank you so much for joining North Point Live or whatever it is. And I'm kind of seeing that trend start to pick up. Like, and I'm guilty of it. My church doesn't do that yet. Like we're in process of trying to figure it out and like who's going to do that on Sunday and how are we technically going to do it. But I think finding ways to engage people at home past just copying and pasting, if you would, your Sunday morning service and just like have it online, like make it a true online service for the church. I think that's what's lacking.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hammering that on our platforms is that we should craft online for online.
Yep.
And the camera in the back of the room, way back in the room where you can hardly, that's not going to cut it anymore.
Yep.
And in fact, I would say, I mean, there might be a time that it did, but if I'm watching online, I'm not as engaged in that as if you were to craft the online as if it's an online campus, as if it is a campus of your church.
Yep.
Because it is.
It is.
So
yep.
You wouldn't open up another campus 30 minutes down the road and not have people greeting at the door. Like,
you just be like, hey, look, we're not going to have good sounding worship band, like at that other campus. we want it to be horrible. Like no one does that. So
Right.
online needs to be treated the same way.
Exactly. Right. So treat it like a campus. All right. I'm going to start
I'm
preaching.
bagging what you're mowing. I'm bagging what
I know. If you're going to wind me up. All right. Talk me through some technical aspects of setting up and executing my live stream. Okay. So here we go. Some churches are nervous about using Vimeo or other platforms because it's too scary. I just don't know how to do it. I don't have anybody in my church that knows how to do all that techie stuff. It's too complicated. So ease my fears. How does Vimeo help make it easy for me?
The easiest streaming platform to use, period. It's designed with the fact that we understand that most people running streams at churches are volunteers. They're, nurses and they're truck drivers and they're mechanics and they're like everyday people. They're not tech guys who
they drive big diesel trucks with flat tires.
Hey, exactly. They're me. Yes. So we're kind of a little bit different than most because we are not a hardware company. We got out of that space. We do have like a software encoder that's super easy to use, turns any computer, my MacBook that's sitting right here, I can plug a camera into it and stream anywhere in the world in 3 seconds. And we handhold. We have an account manager, Wes, brother-in-law, who we were talking about earlier, who handholds with the church. We train the church. We work with them. We have support 9 to 9, 7 days a week. Like Vimeo is trying to bring churches on and help them long-term successful, not just like short-term, get them up and going. We kind of set them up for success, for a long time. Streaming is not as hard as AV guys and people who are trying to get a church to spend, $250,000 on cameras when they've never streamed before. I think that side of the industry has really hurt churches by throwing all this stuff that they have to have in their face. Like, I'm proud for a church. It's like, we didn't know what to do, so we just streamed to Facebook Live with an iPhone. It's like, bravo. Like, you just did it. Like, right. And that's how Vimeo, we kind of approach things. We try to make it easy, but still the highest quality you could possibly expect.
Well, I want to, you mentioned Wes. I want to shout out to Wes Hennings. He was on staff at Stevens Creek in Georgia. Great guy. The reason why I bring him up is because I want people to know you and Wes and the team at Vimeo, that you guys are believers. You guys are serving the church. It's not some secular company way out there. I don't know who I'm going to talk to. You guys are believers. There's a faith department specifically designed to help churches with live streaming, with their online experiences. So you want to talk about that for a minute? How would Wes and your team help a church from the start?
Well, the first thing I tell every church that I talk to, and I'm like, look, before you say anything, I get it. Like, I've been either a worship leader or a communications director at church for the last 15 years. Like, I've done it. I've been there. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I just told you, like, churches should be doing this. My church isn't doing it. Like, I've all these ideas. It's just, I'm trying to implement them. So me and Wes have got, Wes was on staff as a pastor at Stevens Creek. I don't even know how long, 10 years. Like, we are walking the walk. For what the advice we're giving churches. Mm-hmm. We know like how to talk at church, if that makes sense, not in a disrespectful way, but like Vimeo wants to create an atmosphere for churches to when we're talking to our ministries who stream with us and they say, I've got a deacon meeting on Saturday night to try to explain this app to them. Like, we have a team of guys and guys and girls who are able to address that and are able to go, oh, I know exactly what that is because I've been in 50 of those meetings and I know how to help you navigate it and I know how to help you explain this. We understand churches inside and out because we are, we're on staff or serving our church and, we get it.
Right. All right, let's talk about the legality of stuff. So lots of questions out there about what I can stream legally as it pertains to music, copyrights, other video content. Am I going to be pulled down from XYZ platform? So what do you guys encourage churches to consider when it comes to licensing questions?
If you have to think about it, get it. I personally, at my church, use CCLI. I can't speak for like Vimeo legality of what, I would have to have one of our legal team on here to kind of go into what we recommend for licensing. But my personal church uses CCLI, and they provide, in my opinion, any license a ministry would ever need to stream pretty much anything except obviously you go like streaming a Disney movie, you're going, get ready. But talk to someone who knows. Don't guess. Don't have someone in your church who's like an admin person who doesn't know anything about licensing. Just like go get some licenses. Talk to CCLI, call one of the big licensing companies, tell them exactly what you're doing, and just get the license. We as the church have got to be responsible in this because, we're setting an example. And I've had it before where I'm talking to a church and they're like, hey, well, we're just not going to get the licenses and all that stuff for the music. And I'm like, okay, well, like, since you told me that, like, I'm, until you do now, like, I'm not willing to like kind of walk you down this path with Vimeo. Like we're, the church has got to follow the law just like everybody else. So, and those content creators, I'm one of them, like work their tails off writing music and creating content. Like the church needs to honor that, get the licenses you need, make sure whoever needs to get paid gets paid. And, we can control what we can control. Vimeo can control our Vimeo in, but we have no say on what YouTube and Facebook, whatever they decide to take down, they can do it. And there's nothing that we, the church or we Vimeo can do to stop it.
Right.
So
good point. All right. One thing that I really like about Vimeo is the amount of embedding that you do. We use Vimeo embeds all over our site, through our blog, through our web store, custom media samples. I mean, everything on our site is embedded very easily through using Vimeo, and a church can do the same thing. So you can use the embed code for Church Online platform, customize your player button, all of that kind of stuff. So talk to me about that. Anything else that we should know when it comes to embedding my content on my website or elsewhere?
Outside of like the technical spec, just make it easy to find. If I had $1 for every church that I look at before I talk to them and it takes me like 50 clicks to get to the video, please put a huge button at the top that says like media or like sermons here, like make it easy for people to find your content. But Vimeo does some cool stuff, man. We allow you to, put like a clickable button inside the video player to where you can like put a donate now PNG and click it and it'll launch your online giving. We have chat, we have moderated Q&A, which is super cool. We're like, if we're streaming and you're, Carl, you're sitting there and you go, hey, when are we going to be back in the building? You don't have to sit there and wonder. You type it in, push go, and on the back end, they see that question come up and they can approve or deny it. And if they approve it, it'll overlay the video player and then the pastor on stage can like address it. And we also do polling, which can get kind of funny. Like, what opener do you guys want us to play next week? Like this song or this song, and push a button and it comes up next to the video player. They can vote. Like, try to be intentional about what you're embedding. Make it where people can actually have some kind of back and forth with you. And, please make it easy to find.
Yes. When COVID first started, I did like a tour through like 50 churches in one Sunday. And that was like one of the top things that I found. Yep. Is I cannot find your live stream. Like, why is this difficult? Especially if you're not meeting on Sunday, you would think that you would plaster it on the homepage.
Oh yeah.
Watch me right here.
I've told churches that I'm like, hey, when you're not open, like on a Sunday because of COVID, literally push everything in your home screen down and just have the video player sitting there. Like,
yes.
Like, I know like fall festival in 6 months is super important. And I'm excited about it too, but they're just trying to find the Sunday service at this point. Make it easy for them. Make it easy for them.
Yeah. Come on, man. I got to get to that trunk or treat.
Hey, we were expecting like 300 at our trunk or treat this year and had like 1,200. We were not prepared. Yeah. It was wild. It was
people ready to get out, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. We gave them an opportunity and they seized it. That's for sure.
Okay. So let's talk about how using Vimeo, I can push my live stream to multiple destinations, even at the same time. So it will spit it out to Facebook, YouTube, my own website, anywhere I want to go. So talk to me about pushing to multiple destinations.
Yep. So kind of we hit on this a little bit earlier, but yeah, we make it super simple. Like you set your stream on Sunday to go to whatever Facebook pages you want, YouTube, LinkedIn. Yes, we have a streaming integration with LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Hey, we do. And you never know, man. I've had people hear about Jesus in way weirder ways. And, if you have apps, like really anywhere in the world you want your stream to go, Vimeo can simulcast it there for you. And we transcode the actual player on your website in the cloud. So your only responsibility as a ministry is get Vimeo one feed from an encoder or our software encoder. We're hardware agnostic. We don't care what you use. Just get us a feed and we handle everything forward of that.
Yeah, good.
So
good.
Try to make it as easy as we can.
It really is easy.
Yeah, it can be complicated.
Okay, so Vimeo also lets you save your stream content directly to your account. So here's what this means. So, please walk this out. So I'm streaming live, but it's also archiving at the same time to where as soon as the live stream's over, I can hit the replay or the archived video. Is that correct?
Yep. There's a little bit, there's a very, very short gap between the two, but yeah, it's normally available. By the time I walk out of the sound booth on Sunday, get a cup of coffee, tell my wife she rocked it on the keys and get back, not only the full 1080 version, but it is transcoded, that archive. So you can immediately download or view, 1080, 720, 480, all the way down, which is cool. And then I push a button and push it into my showcase, which is a really cool way Vimeo lets you kind of show your sermon series. And boom, people are on our website watching it immediately.
Good. All right. Last thing I want to hit on is the app building. So you guys build apps.
We do.
So a lot of people might not know that. So talk to me about how you can build an app for me, what that looks like, the process. Just give me the lowdown on apps.
Yeah, people don't know it because we honor the ministries who are building those apps. And let me explain what I mean. So most providers hold the actual developer account for Roku and Apple TV. So when you go to the church and you go to download the app, you see who built it. The reason that when you download Hillsong's app or you download TBN's massive OTT and it says developed by Hillsong, is because we allow the ministry to hold their developer account. Because if they were to ever, for any reason, which we hope they would never, but if they left Vimeo, the people who have downloaded that app don't get kicked out. They retain their app. We just, someone would have to come in and put new content. But we see this as the future. We see this as where people are wanting to engage content. And I have people argue with me all the time. They're like, well, I don't think so. People want to watch sermons on their iPhone. I'm like, okay, well, when's the last time you watched a Netflix video, a whole Netflix movie on your iPhone, excluding a plane flight? And they're like, never. I'm like, it's the same thing. People want long form content on their televisions. That's where they want them. And they don't want to have to go through, they don't want to have to click on the YouTube app and then search for your church. They want to click on, my church, Lake Point Community Church. They want to search the app. They want to download it. And they want everything we do as a ministry in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm pushing ministries. Don't just have your Sunday content. Use it to push your small group content. Use it to push your Bible study content. Have everything you do as a ministry one click away from everyone at home on their TV boxes, because that's where people are ingesting content. And we fully build, all of those apps on all platforms, even Xbox, Samsung, Tizen, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, iOS, Android. I mean, you name it, we build those apps.
So one thing I like about this, and I think me and you both have been kind of preaching this over the last year, and even in this conversation, is your anchor point you need to own your anchor point.
Yes.
So if I'm pushing people to YouTube is motivated for you to see their ads, for you to click on the next video or bounce around. So is Facebook. Mentally, I want to keep scrolling. But with your owned content, your website, your app, you control what they see around the main video. You control the experience. You want to talk at that?
Yeah, and we're seeing this like obviously massive in the church right now. But I just worked with like a buddy of mine, Kev on Stage, like really, really famous comedian, and he just launched an OTT app with us. And it was just, I'm having the same conversation every day with ministries that are fitness people and our sports people and like all of the teams inside Vimeo. It's the same conversation. Like, I want to own my atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Like, I want one central place where I know every part of my business or person who works out with us or whatever can click one button and have access to all the live content, all the VOD content. Everything's in one atmosphere. You control the content and it's easy to use, and the quality is like out of this world. It's unbelievable. So I think it's the future. I think if there was one thing that people said, what do churches need to get to prepare for the next 5 years? It is a OTT app, period. That would be my advice to ministries right now.
Good. All right. So as we close, give me a very easy next step. If I want to get started with Vimeo, if I want to take some of the steps that we've talked about, how do I do that?
So you can feel free to email me directly, justin.kennedy@vimeo.com. You can get in touch with me via Carl, the legend, and also purchase plans through them because 1230 is awesome and the content they build is mind-blowing. Or you can call me or text me on my cell phone. We are like, Vimeo is super approachable. Yeah. We're not some like go through 900 systems to get to me. My cell is 404-395-3123. And you can literally pick up the phone and call me, send me a text, send me an email. And you may not end up choosing Vimeo, but I promise you a 15, 20, even a 5-minute conversation with me or with someone on my team, it will make it worth it. And our only wish is that we can help empower churches to share the gospel. And I've had many times where I'm like, look, we're not where you need to be yet. I will take time and help you figure out how to just stream to Facebook Live because it's in your budget. Like, my goal at the end of the day is to help ministries, not to kind of better myself and like raise me up. I'm just trying to help ministries share the gospel.
And that's what I want people to hear. I don't want people to hear a sales pitch. It's not. I want to walk through the features. I want people to know what's out there and how to do it from multiple places. And you guys are doing great work. And I love the fact that that this faith division is specifically designed to help churches and ministries. So you guys are there. So really appreciate what you guys are doing over there. And man, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time.
Dude, thanks so much for having me and for kind of featuring Vimeo. And thanks for everything you're doing to further the gospel. I know that just the stuff that you guys internally are doing and reaching pastors and putting all these different companies together, and even this podcast, like, I know everything you do day in and day out is doing the same. So thank you for what you're doing as well, man.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. All right. Have a good day, man.
Thanks, man.
Hey guys, Matt McMorris here, pastor of Grace Valley Church. And I just want to tell you, one of the reasons I love 1230 Media is because when we started our church, I wanted to have good video content and sermons and bumpers and that kind of stuff, but just couldn't afford to pay somebody, to hire somebody to do that kind of stuff for us. And so the affordability and the fact that they're constantly coming out with new stuff, they're really helping equip our church. We used their stuff today in a service. We just got done with church, and I love being able to have that resource and being able to plan sermons and things that have quality digital to help our services be as sharp and professional as they can be. I highly recommend 1230 Media.
The show notes for this episode are available now at makingSundayHappen.com.
Well, that is it for us this week. Articles on our blog, archives of the podcast, and resources are all at 1230.media/training. That's 1230.media/training. Over 600 articles on the site and nearly 300 podcast episodes. We are coming up on number 300 here in a few weeks. So all of those archive podcast episodes are there on the website, completely free for you to dive into right there, 1230.media/training to get all of that completely free. All right, next week I'll be talking with Alex Sawyer from theproductionpastor.com. Alex has been working in church production since he was a kid. He's a worship leader, creative artist, and audio engineer. He currently serves as the tech director at Third Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'll be talking with Alex about 7 tips for video directors. So if you lead the charge or you volunteer to switch the camera shots at your church in live production, or if you help shoot videos at your church in any capacity, you want to be here next week as I talk with Alex about tips for video directors. That is next week on the podcast. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Go out there and create some incredible worship experiences at your church this weekend. I'll catch you next week.
Making Sunday Happen is a production of the ministry of 1230 Media. For show notes, archive episodes, and more free resources for your church, visit MakingSundayHappen.com.